So
that works fine for me.
this call was really going to be, because like last call was about, target audience and the niche that you were in and stuff like that. This call, I wanted to make sure we nailed down what you're selling, because all of that is what your book leads into,
Right.
So we want to make sure that the book topic, and all that stuff aligns, and that it flows smoothly and transitions from, hey, the reader's having this journey and this experience in the book, to now they're like, oh, I need more Jacques. I can't live without you. And they're like, oh, I want to find out more, so that they'll like book a call or sign up for a program or whatever. So I want it to, be seamless and flow just in their like experience that, hey, this is just the logical next step. Sign up. Give me some moolah.
So it's kind of windy, so I'm walking to the car.
Okay.
I guess my biggest disconnect that I'm having right now, we got the packet and all that stuff together. We got to get it scanned and sent over to you. Is really when we talked last, was narrowing down exactly what I want this book to be. I mean, I know what my boot camp is about: prosperity, purpose, and profit.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to gear it to that, but it was a bit, when I really started looking at it, it was kind of a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I got to get it narrowed down to where it makes sense and it's definitely to the point and impactful,
Mm-hmm.
and not leading them off on a wild goose chase of a story, because then I'm gonna lose them, and it won't make sense to be able to transition that over to an actual course.
Right. So that's I think it's real important to be specific, and even within like your target audience, if you need to narrow that down even more, to narrow that enough so that it makes sense. All of it has to make sense from one step to the next to the next. Because, basically it goes, hey, there's some freebie happening, right? You might,
Right.
they end up with your book, and then you nurture them in a sequence from that so they get to know you better. And then from that, they can jump onto this call, and then, you want them to know exactly what they're signing up for. So when you say purpose, passion, and profits, then you're helping entrepreneurs. Are they specific entrepreneurs? Are they coaches? Are they brick and mortar? Are they selling products? What kind of entrepreneurs are you looking for? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter, because the techniques and principles work for everyone, no matter if you're multi-level marketing, if you're brick and mortar, if you're CEO, or if you're a mom and pop cookie shop.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there a specific niche in there that you like better?
I think when I really started thinking about it, when I started talking in a certain area, it was more or less to those who are in that age category of 35 and up, that
Mm-hmm.
feel as if they don't have any more left to give. They think life is it's too late in life to really go after what it is that they want, or to really make that change or career change, or that or moving towards their purpose, because they feel as if, well, I started out wrong. It's too late in life, and now I'm stuck at where I am.
Okay. Are you sure you want to work with those people, Jacques? Because you're going to be doing a lot of mindset work, a lot of, hey, let's get you out of your pit, and a lot of pushing and motivation. Like, those don't sound like self-motivated people.
Okay. Yeah, well, it when you say it like that, yeah, it tends to be kind of a push with them, to kind of get them to rethink where they are, and to really look at that. I guess I don't want to forget about that market.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not the ideal market to address first when starting out,
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm thinking that that market can turn into your market, right? So it might be a matter
Right.
of you put things out there that gets that market to the place where they are more self-motivated. They can, see the bigger picture, they can see that vision, and then they want to take action on it. Like they actually feel like it's possible and they have that hope and whatever going on. So it might be a matter of I'm going to call it the pre-selling part of what you're doing is moving those people to be
Okay.
self-motivated. Because if you're going to call out to the people who feel like their time is over, they don't know if this is good for them, like you're going to be doing a lot of let me pull you out of that rather than let me teach you how to use your passion and find your purpose and make that into profit. Like I think that you will probably want to dig into that more than pulling those people out.
I got you. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So you might be looking for people who have already started their business, have somewhat of a quasi idea about it. Maybe they've got one foot in corporate and one foot in their entrepreneur business. And they're looking to scale that so that they can quit their corporate job.
Okay.
Does
That
that
makes,
sound like the guy, the person, or
yeah, that
what?
makes sense. That does. That makes a lot more sense.
Mhm.
Being able to structure it that way, then because that's a broad audience when I'm dealing with people in that manner of, well, I'm trying to get you to the next level, because that comes in a lot of areas, because that could be a person who has never done anything absolutely in the world, don't even know where to start, and that's a lot of work to get them to at least figure out what it is they want to do,
Mhm.
to start moving them towards a position of, okay, now how do we make this happen, as
Right.
compared to someone, I already have something in place, I just
Mhm.
need to know how to figure it out.
Right, right. And I think that you'll have more fun with those people because, because those people are already somewhat committed to that, right? The other people you're talking about haven't committed yet, and they're kind of dreaming and they're thinking, oh, there might be something out there. I don't know what it is. So you could have a part in your book that addresses that, and helps people move from that point to actually realizing that they could do something different, there is a purpose and they can go find it. You could probably put something like that in the book to help move those people, but then the actual ones you want to be putting into your program may need to be a step past that,
Okay.
right? And I think that also helps you not just lower your frustrations, but have an increase in outcome, success for those people.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So when you talked about MLM as well, like, is that a niche that you want to be in?
um I I I, I was in MLM for 30 years,
Uh-huh.
very, very good at it, but I know in being transitioning into this arena and being a transformational coach, it's a very gray area, and it's very, very tricky. And being in an MLM and being a motivational coach, and wanting to move in this realm, because I know from the past that a lot of people are moved based on your what you say. Anything you say and do, definitely is how they move, and they tend to build their successes and failures based on where you are, especially if you're a leader in MLM. So I don't want to be tied to just that arena. I want to be able to be universal, to be able to, I can talk to someone or talk to an MLM company and teach the principles. I can talk to a Fortune 500 company and teach the same principles.
Mhm.
MLM is something I'm great at. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with one of the young ladies that it wants to be mentored by me in Singapore, and she called me about an MLM company. I told her the reason why I did not want to be involved with MLM at this particular time, or that I'm walking away from that after 30 years. But I do have techniques that I can train on teaching you how to grow your business, how to grow your team, or to grow your customer base. And she said, well, someone just sent me that and I was willing to pay $10,000 or more for that. You do realize that just a little bit you explained to me was more than what they gave me, and you can charge $10,000 for that. So that kind of gave me a light bulb about it. It was a program that I've used before, and it was a program that I actually wrote out a newsletter. There were steps to how to be able to build a team, build your customer base, and actually find people who are looking for you instead of you looking for them. I said, because wouldn't it be so nice if you could walk around and people walked around with signs over their heads saying, I'm looking for an opportunity, instead of you trying to go through your friends, family, and the next person that you see 10 feet in front of you, trying to run them down to tell them about your opportunity, when in actuality, first of all, you're afraid to do it. Most of the people in MLMs are fishermen, to where they say, well, you got the hunters in the industry. That's only about 2%.
Yeah.
The other 98% in MLM are all fishers. They throw some bait out there. They're hoping something bites, and then it comes to them. They're not going out there trying to catch it. So developing a system to where you can do that without going to your friends and family, without actually even ever having to talk to a person. And once I developed that system, it was great. My problem with MLM was the morality of it. It was the morals that some of these companies had, and some of the individuals. And it's really tricky in dealing with that. And I said, if I want to be a transformational coach and be universal, being in an MLM company is not ideal for me, but I can teach MLM companies my techniques. So that's what I was looking at, not to be a part of the industry, but to at least be able to be within the industry to teach them the things that I can, or that I was very good at.
Yeah. So what I would suggest then with your messaging is that you call out to the people who are just starting, right? So that you don't have to motivate them. And then maybe a story here or there about how you developed your stuff through being in an MLM, but how it's applicable to everybody else. And that's where the strategy comes from. But then you want to focus on getting the people that are not really in an MLM. But I think purely by sharing some pieces of that story, you're going to get some people from MLM. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't target them, but indirectly, you're going to be talking about them anyway, and they're going to come to you.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. So the program, because like this call, I want to make sure that we're nailing down the program that your book leads to. Do you have price points, what the deliverables are, and, you know, benefits, outcomes? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, price point, you got on me about that. Before you told me to move my price point to $3,000 to start.
Yeah.
Okay. So we moved it to $3,000 to start, and getting, you know, that first wave out and getting over myself of being able to charge someone that amount.
And you just had somebody tell you that you could charge 10K. So, hey.
Right. Okay. The deliverables in it is definitely getting them to hone down exactly what it is, that making sure that they're clear on what they feel their purpose is, being able to be prosperity, to have prosperity in all areas of their lives. So this is not just about money. It's about being able to be healthy and prosper in every area of your life, because, you know, as the saying goes, you know, everybody can have, you know, you can have a lot of people with a lot of money, but if you're not mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy, then money doesn't matter. So it's about teaching them on each level of their life, financially, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and being able to understand those areas, being able to start walking in having a healthier culture,
in those areas and being able to have healthy conversations in those areas. Because a lot of times, you know, when we're speaking, case in point, just using my own experience, is my health. I always spoke negative about it. You know, I know I was dealing with seizures. I know I was dealing with Meniere's disease, but I would always look at the negative of it. And it was not doing me any good, because now by me speaking negatively about my health was affecting me mentally.
Right.
And because it was affecting me mentally, it was affecting me spiritually, and emotionally. And so, and because I was down in those 4 areas, I was not in a position to want to do anything in order to build finances. So it affected me across the board. The one area of your life can affect all, depending on how you approach it. So that's why I've started teaching people how to look at those areas in a different manner. Now, I'm not saying that every day you're going to wake up with a smile and it's going to be, oh, happy day. But it's about learning that when you have a challenge of the day, and teaching you how to be proactive instead of reactive, and knowing it's not having a bad day, it's just having a moment. And if we can figure out, or if we can address the moment, it does not affect everything else that you're going through. Okay, so you got hit, you went to work, you had, telling people, my technique was living 15 minutes at a time. I treat it like an hour is like a game of basketball or a game of football. You got 4 quarters. And each quarter is going to be different. And the game is never over until the 4th quarter, until the last seconds are ticked off the clock. I said, so living 15 minutes at a time for me is that came from my brother. I used to have a bad way of saying that, you know, I'm having a bad day, or I'm having this. But it didn't come to light one day until my brother, who's a doctor in Georgia, called me early in the morning. And it was 6:30 my time, 7:30 his time. And he immediately went into this rant of he was having a bad day. I'm still in the bed. So I looked over at the clock to see what time it was. And then I asked him to repeat himself. And he said, I'm really having a bad day. I said, so if I'm correct, it's 6:30 my time, 7:30 your time, a.m. I said, are you at work yet? He said, no. I said, so apparently you're not going in today. He said, no, I'm going in. I said, so I'm confused. You just said you were having a bad day. So in my mind, you were not going into work. You were getting ready to crawl back in the bed, pull the covers up over your head, and say and declare that this day is over and you're waiting on tomorrow to come. He said, no. I said, well, how can you possibly say you're having a bad day if the day hasn't started? So I immediately told him, you're not having a bad day. You're having a moment. That's when it all started for me, and realizing that I said, look, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to work, and I want you to document the first hour of your day and do it at 15 minutes each time. This is what I want you to do. Tell me what happens in your first 15 minutes of the day. Just jot down something really quick. Doesn't have to be detailed. I said, good or bad. I said, and then the next 15 minutes do the same thing. Next 15 minutes do the same thing. And the next 15 minutes do the same thing. Do that for an hour for me. I said, if you want to and you feel challenged, do it for 3 hours. And then call me back. So he called me back, and we went through his day. His first 15 minutes, he said, well, he had a challenging patient that came in. The next 15 minutes, he said that, you know, I got a call from the insurance company and they weren't cooperating. I said, okay. And then he went on to tell me about the other 15 minutes of this day. I said, so he said, and, you know, 15 minutes after that, then I had a patient that came in and brought me cookies because I really helped her. I had another patient who came in and, you know, he paid his bill in cash for me. Even though that we needed to do it in insurance, but he wanted to pay extra because he wanted to buy some other stuff. So it brought it into the office. So he kept going on like this. So your first 15 minutes was challenging. The next 15 minutes was not so great because of the insurance company. I said, how many minutes of the day was that? He said, 30. I said, in the 3 hours that you did it. He said, 30. I said, so then you told me about another 15 minutes, right? I said, that was good. I said, you told me about another 15 minutes that was decent. Another 15 minutes that was, you know, satisfactory, and another 15 minutes that was great. I said, now we haven't even really gotten into the hour and 30 minutes that you had. I said, so you had an hour you told me that was good and 30 minutes that you told me that were challenging. I said, so did you have a bad day? He said, no. I said, again, you had a moment.
Yeah.
So now let's figure out how to be able to address your moments. I said, your moment may last 20 minutes, it may last 30 minutes, it may last a day. Look at it as a moment and not look at it as a day, because when you start looking at it that way, then you realize in your mindset, I can't get past that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm never going to be able to defeat these challenges because my whole day is just going. But if you look at it as a moment, you say it's only a moment in time that I can get past, because the rest of my time can be great depending on how I approach it.
Yeah.
I don't know if all that made any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. So now I want to know how, because this living 15 minutes at a time is your brand, is it not?
Right.
Right. So how are you tying that in? And I'm going to guess that your book needs to be called something to that effect too, living 15 minutes at a time. How are you tying that into what you originally said was what you were coaching on, purpose, passion, and profits?
But that ties into the point of when you're moving into your purpose, because most people can't recognize purpose because they can't get past the challenges of their day. You're so busy being caught up into what's going wrong in your life instead of what's going right.
Mm-hmm.
We focus more on everything that went wrong. So when I tell people to live 15 minutes at a time, I want you to focus on the 15 minutes that went well.
Mm-hmm.
We can address the 15 minutes that were challenging by coming up with a resource and a plan. But if you focus more on what went well for you in that day, it keeps your mind open to be able to address that, because as soon as you start thinking on the negative, it ruins everything else. You can't focus, you can't concentrate, you don't know how to get past anything, and you just want to shut down.
Right.
Because most people react like that. You know, I'm passive aggressive, and I know that when something hits me that's really challenging, I shut down. So, in teaching them how to recognize that, so you can really start recognizing and opening up to your purpose. And also teaching you how to live 15 minutes at a time helps you to live a more healthier stance in the 5 areas of your life. Because now you're focusing on what is positive. I'm not saying that positive means that it's great or that it's outstanding. I'm not saying that it's to a point to where you hit every last goal, or you got a goal to make, $6,000 at the end of the month, but you only made $1,000. Well, if you look at it in the mirror, oh man, I didn't hit my goal, that sucks. Instead of saying, you know what, I started out with a goal of $6,000, but I made 1,000. So it's possible, if I can build on what it was that I did right to make the 1,000, now to be able to get to maybe 2,000, maybe 4,000, and eventually 6,000. So if I can get them to look at it as, look at what you did right and not necessarily what went wrong, we're going to write down those things that you thought were a challenge, and let's see how we can do that differently. Just because something was done and it doesn't go your way doesn't mean that it's not meant to be done. It's just meant to be done a different way. So let's look at it that way instead of just saying, oh, this doesn't work.
Right. Okay, cool. I'm excited that you know exactly how your 15 minutes at a time works with what you want to coach with. I totally see this as you're talking, I'm like, living 15 minutes at a time, or however you say it so much more eloquently than I do, for entrepreneurs. Living 15 minutes at a time for teens, living 15 minutes at a time for moms, I can see the whole series of these. I don't know if you thought about that or not.
No, I haven't. Thank you, Vickie. Thank you. No, I didn't.
Totally see that. It's how they do how to win friends and influence people, right? And then they have one for teens, and then they have a whole series. I actually see that for you. And this first one, making it for entrepreneurs, then it can be people who are moving from corporate to something, or, is a stay-at-home mom who now wants to find her purpose in life, or it is somebody who is in an MLM that wants to get to the next level. And you just teach them how to live 15 minutes at a time in these different, I think you said 5 different areas of their life, right? So now you can actually show them 15 minutes at a time and break your book up into, I don't know if you have 5 chapters or if there might be some bookends to that, but each of those 5 is a chapter, and you share how that works within each of those different pillars of their life.
That's why we love you, Vickie. That's why we love you, because that now addressed the confusion that I was having as to how to definitely break that down and how to do that and what to approach first. So that made it that much simpler, because getting it out and explaining it, when I give the message or when I speak on the message, people are so enamored and in love with the message. But when it comes to, okay, so when are you having then that's where I'm like stuck. I'm like, it's coming, because I'm having the challenge of, okay, now how do I put this together in order to, teaching it from stage is a little different than teaching it one-on-one and then putting it in a book.
Yeah. But, and this is jumping a little bit ahead, but I think you need this right now, because when we get to the point of turning your book into a course, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have these 5 areas. So whether you're doing group or whether you're doing one-on-one, we're going to start with that first area in your life that you need to start living 15 minutes at a time. And then you give them the wins in that area. They feel some, accomplishments there. You move to the next and the next to the next. And then in turn, because you're working with business owners, they're going to end up being more productive with their day. They're going to have a better mindset. They're going to be able to spit out, like, I really see this as they're going to be able to raise their prices and be confident that they can actually get those prices, because now they feel more uplifted rather than down about, oh, this isn't working, right? That kind of thing. So I think the biggest thing for you is we need to make sure that 15 minutes ties into those tangible things that entrepreneurs want. More clients, saving time, keeping more money, right? And what else do they want? Freedom with their family, right? And to be able to have enough excess in their business to not just get by in their business, but to able to start saying yes to those things that they were previously saying no to because they just didn't have the funds, right?
Right.
So I think you really need to tie this into the bottom line, because that's what entrepreneurs are about, right? Business owners are about. As much as we are heart-centered and we want to help people, we got to keep the lights on. We got to have a car. We got to have a house. We got to, all that stuff. Plus, we want to travel and have experiences with our kids and have enough for college, all of that stuff. So while we're going to talk about the lifting of their mindset, right? For you, it's also how is that hitting their bottom line so they make more money?
Absolutely. Yeah. That makes sense. Yes.
Okay. Fabulous. And I think that, even though you may not want the MLM, if you have some connections in there, you can get some quick sales, go do it so you can start make some money.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Where do you feel like your lowest hanging fruit is?
Yeah, it probably would be in the MLM industry.
Okay. All right. And here's the thing I want you to do. If somebody says to you, well, Doc, 3,000 is kind of steep, blah, 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 because I know how that thing goes, just to get some income flowing and get some momentum in that direction, you can say something like, hey, I get it. I've been in your shoes before. And you know what? Every year I offer 3 scholarships. Lucky for you, it's the end of the year. I still have a scholarship. So I can give you $1,000 scholarship so that you can get started. And then take a deposit. Like, that was one of the biggest mistakes that I ever made, was when people would be like, oh yeah, just send me the information or send me the link or send me, it's, why don't we go ahead and put down $100 or $200 deposit so we can get started. I'll send you your welcome packet and we can schedule your first call with me. Get them while they're really excited. So get that deposit and then get the payment plan done, or whatever, if they want to pay in full or whatever. Because sometimes people do have to gather the funds, right? Regardless if it's a $200 purchase or a $20,000 purchase, people have to gather the funds sometimes. But one of the things that I learned is get the deposit so that they're committed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then if you have to offer 5 scholarships in the next couple months just to get some people in, do it. But by offering the scholarship and saying you're offering them the scholarship, they feel special, number one. You're not degrading your price. And if they talk to somebody else, they say, hey, Jacques' program is $3,000. They don't say, Jacques gave it to me for 2. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't want people to start getting into that habit of like what Rhonda had happening is everybody expecting her stuff for free because she's always been doing it for free and there was never a price tag to it.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Good?
Good.
All right. So is there anything else you need help on?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. So go make a juicy title and a juicy name for this program.
Okay.
Whether it's 15 minutes, I don't know, 15 minutes to profits or, I don't know what it is, but
Okay.
something juicy that will get them to be excited. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Aside from the other stuff. All right, cool. So now that we have a couple other people jump on, I was hoping for more of a bigger group of people coming on because everybody needed to hear this. I want to kind of go back and talk about some stuff before we get further into this call. I want to address a few things in regards to what's being posted in the group and talk to you about the tone in the group. I know some people have a more difficult time completing the modules at a given pace, or maybe haven't understood some of the instructions as well, or feel like it's taking a lot of time to complete the modules. And, we are all adults here. My job is to give you the tools in order to achieve the goals that you want to, which is writing a book that's going to grow and scale your business, right? The things that are in this program are things that I've perfected over the course of helping 100 people become best-selling authors, helping people to get to the point where they can charge high dollars for the products and services that they're providing so that you get what you're worth, right? So this is tested stuff, but I can only take you so far. You know the saying that like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Well, I can lead you to the water, but you have to actually like put your head down and drink it. That means that you are all responsible for your own success in the program. That means no moaning, no groaning, no whining, no blame shifting, no negativity about the modules. We all have lives. We have other things going on. I understand that. I totally do. And the thing is, coming into the group, bringing up negative energy just doesn't fly with me. It is my job to protect the sanctity of the Facebook group. And from now on going forward, if I feel that your post or your comment is negative and will have an effect like of a bad vibe and affect the experience for the rest of the group participants, I'm going to delete it. Even if there's a question in it that I could respond to, it's going to get deleted and just have to post your question in a different way. Now, if you have problems or questions that you really need help with, then of course, by all means, post it and post it in a constructive way. But don't make it where it's someone else's problem while you're not succeeding. You have to take responsibility for your success in the program, which includes your behavior in the group. And I don't want to tolerate anyone bringing down other people in the group, right? It's not fair to the other people to bring that kind of energy in, right? So, the modules were not meant to take 1,000 years to finish. I also base it on how long I think it would take me. And I didn't put it together with some sort of necessary expectation on hours and all that stuff. Again, to be successful, just do what it takes. It takes you however long it takes you. And I really don't need to know how long it takes you because it's inconsequential to the questions or the outcome at the end. All you need to do is make sure that you finish them, do them with insight, and do them with your heart, with what you feel is the right answer. The group is meant for support, celebrations and wins, questions and feedback. The best questions, I tell you, are the most specific questions, meaning the better you ask your question and the more specific that you can be about your questions, then the better that I can be with the feedback. All right. And I know for some of you that you have more than one book in you. And like what I just told Jacques, that might be a series and it might be something similar with a different audience, right? And this could be why some of you feel a little bit of a push and pull or confusion of, like, oh, gee, I don't know where I should start now. But what I want you to know is that it is amazing that you have so many people that you can serve. But to get the most out of your book and to get the most out of this program, you need to pick one and start with it, right? And I'll go back to Jacques again. I didn't tell him, go and write the book for teens and go and write the book for moms and go and write the book for, I told him to write the book for entrepreneurs. Why? Because out of all the passions and all the ideas and all the things that he could, that is the one that's going to give him the most profit the fastest, right? So I want you to go through and think about the people that you could serve and pick one, right? Because you just have to pick one because you can't write one book and then expect it to be on multiple shelves in the bookstore. It just isn't going to happen, right? So you have to pick the one to start. And my goal for you is to be as successful as possible. And I know that this is a new process for all of you, but what I also want you to know is that you got to trust the process. Like I've said before, I've helped 100 people get to bestsellers, and you guys are just as amazing as they are, if not more. This is one of the most stellar groups I've worked with. You guys are brilliant. You have exceptional gifts, and you have amazing things to give to the world. But success comes with a decision. So in order to move forward, you have to make a decision. Like right now, for those of you who are still struggling with where you should be, who you should serve first, I say just pick one. Pick the passion, pick the one that is going to get you to success, to those profits the fastest, because you can't sit here not making money, right? Because you can only go so long without making money before you start thinking about maybe I should go get a job at Starbucks or Target or something like that. And I don't want that to happen to you. So you have to pick one, right? And you pick one, we work on that book first, and then later, if you want to, you can work on the other audiences and add those. And if you want to write books for them afterwards, absolutely go do that, okay? So I hope that gives some clarity on, like how the group functions, what kind of energy we want in there, and then also, the whole concept of month one and why I'm being such a stickler. And you might think I'm being mean, but I am being such a stickler on you got to pick a horse and ride it, because the most successful people first pick that horse and ride it. The people that you see that have multiple things out there, they all started with one. They got big enough in that one, and then they added. Because when you have energy going out to multiple things, it's hard to balance them all and be successful in all of them. It's like when you multitask, right? You focus a little on this, and then you focus a little on this, and then you focus a little on this, and then you go back and focus a little on this. You're only getting a little each time, right? And so they're all hindering each other. But if you just went full speed ahead with one, you'd be so much further than being way behind. And, like 3 or 4 different ideas are way back here, when one of them could be way out here. Okay? All right, cool. So, Rhonda, the lovely Rhonda. Let's talk about, because, and I know some of you hopped on a little bit later. What I want to get clear this time today is making sure that you have that program set in place that the book is going to flow into. Right? Because we don't want any disjointness. We want this to be a continual journey for the person who comes into your community, so that they feel like, okay, I cannot let this journey stop. I got to keep going. I got to go deeper. I need more help. And Rhonda or Jacques or Tamé or the other Rhonda, like, you are the only person who can take me there, because I've already gone this far, right? A lot of people, if they go a certain distance with you, they'll be like, there's no reason for me to go find somebody else and start over. I might as well just continue, right? All right, so Rhonda Sadler, you're up. I'm just going in the order of how people jumped on, just so you guys know. So Rhonda Sadler.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Vickie.
Hi.
By the way, I'm just about to scroll really quick. Your hair is really cute. What you did, curled it is full. I love it.
Oh.
Yes, you have to flip.
It is the I washed my hair late, and my hair takes forever to dry. Now, okay, I know that black ladies, your hair's sometimes dry. It'll take a long
yes,
time.
Lord. Yes.
Mine is not quite that long, because my girlfriend was like, "Oh, I gotta sit under the heater for 10 hours." I'm like, "What? 10 hours. But anyways, this is I wash my hair late. It just doesn't dry. So then I put it in a French braid on each side. So I look at these little French braids going on, and I go out in public. Like,
we have that trick too.
I look like I'm 12, and then it's like this puffiness the next day that I don't have to do anything.
It's cute and fluffy.
Yeah.
Fluffy.
Awesome. Okay, you just got frozen. All right, cool. So tell me, what is going to be your signature core program that your book is going to lead up to?
So I've been really thinking about this and just back and forth, and I'm like, Rhonda, you got to narrow it down. You got to narrow it down. You know, like I do so much, but I have to. I just really listen to just what you said, because it's something that Jacques has been saying, and I'm like, I don't know how to narrow it down because I do it all. Because so many folks call me for different things, and I said with my 9 to 5, and then I'm clocking in on my clock with my stuff. There's just not enough time in the everything that I want to do, even though I feel like in my mind that I can multitask. You just said it when you said you get a little here, a little there, a little there, then you go back. It's just a little bit getting to like everything, and I'm not giving just one thing full. So I'm going to do the mother-daughter, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Oh, are you still there? Oh, I think we lost Rhonda. That was weird, the video. Okay, well, I guess we will come back to Rhonda. Okay, Teme, you are up, girly. So let's talk about what your program is that we want to lead your book up into. So I know that you have multiple audience and stuff, so I would really encourage that we're going to pick one this time. What are your thoughts? Are you there? Teme?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're up. We'll get back to Rhonda. I see you just got back, but Teme, let's talk about the program that you want to put together and how that is going to lead up to the book that you're going to write. So what are your thoughts so far about that?
I don't think I'm ready to talk about that right now. I think it's better for you to talk to Rhonda Wood. She was here before me, and it would help me get my thoughts together if I listen more to what it is that you're doing on other people, so that by the time you speak with me, maybe I'll have a better handle on what it is that you're looking for.
All right, I'll come back to you then. All right, Rhonda Sadler, I see you back.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm so sorry. Jacques' phone died. Okay, so I was.
I thought I had it plugged up, and then I looked down and it wasn't even plugged in.
I was like, Vickie! Okay, so
the mother-daughter thing was the last thing I heard.
Yes. Okay. So I was thinking about the name, and I said mother-daughter is really what I do. Like I love the millennials and I love youth, but I always end up talking to moms too. Like it's really crazy. Like my youth and the millennials are just drawn to me, you know, because of life lessons, right? I'm a life coach too, but that's just my title. So that's just for the folks who are saying, well, what qualifies you? What qualifies me is my life lessons that I've learned. But I knew I had to get something on paper. So for folks saying, well, what makes you, I can't just say, girl, just living life. I had to have.
Ask you?
You would be surprised. I've had folks, yeah, I've had, when I've mentored folks in church, I'll have certain women say, well, so what qualifies you to even talk to youth? And I say, well, you know that I work with youth for 20 years. I was a youth leader. I'm also a certified life coach through the same person that certified Dr. Phil. Oh, yeah. So what? So watch out, buddy. You know, but it's really life lessons, truthfully. But so anyway, let me not squirrel. So so I had to think of a name because I love the whole 2020 vision. What's your vision? And I can still incorporate that in. But but you said if you plan on going past that point, then what are you going to do? Like I can use that in the group saying, all right, you guys, let's plan for our vision for 2020. But I had to have a name. So God gave me, I don't know which way to go, either the MD squad or the DM squad. And the MD means mother-daughter squad, but it also means that all stands for medical doctor. So it can go for MD squad, mother-daughter squad, but it's talking about the issues of the heart, of the brain, of doctoring each other up. Like there's ways of like adding them both in. And then I said the DM squad because what does that stand for? Yeah, because that means like a direct message. That's daughter mother, but it's a direct message, meaning we have direct messages from the mother to the daughter to the mother. So I don't know which way to go with that because both of them
I like the DM better because the MD immediately makes me think medical doctor, and then you have to do a lot of explaining.
Right.
It's just too much explaining. So I think the DM.
No, you said it, Job.
It's more straightforward. He's so happy, is he not? Oh my gosh, you guys crack me up. Also, you know, the DM, right? The direct messaging, it just flows really perfectly. I think that one is
I just thought that would relate to the millennials too. Like so that they would and then the squad just makes it fun. I was thinking about having something stand for the SQAUD, and then right, and then Jacques was like, "You can do that, or just make it simple, just the DM squad, right?" Yeah. So I'm thinking about because the S could be sister, the Q could be queen, the like U could like be like a unique unicorn. So I'm a awesome D for daughters because we're all daughters.
Right. Now, here's something you could potentially do in your book. Okay. If you're going to make everything stand for something, that chapter could be one of those letters.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Sisterhood. Because sisterhood is more than just the girls and just the moms. It's a sisterhood with all of us. Like I don't like it when people say that when you're young, you don't know what love is. No, they just have it in the rarest form. They haven't been hurt yet. So for them, that love is pure. When they don't say, "Oh, you're just young, you just don't know." No, that's not true. They do know. They just haven't been hurt like us. You know, I hate it when people count out the over 40s and 50s. It's a different world now, right? So these older women still have life, and lots of these women cling on to their girls or their kids, and they have their own life. My daughter's 21. She's a junior in college. She was my first. It was hard letting her go, but I knew that if I didn't, I groomed her for this moment. Yep. I groomed her but on the same note, when she left, she was 18. How dare I just throw her like into the wolves thinking, "Oh, she can do it." No, right? In biblical sense, you're not supposed to leave the house until you're married. That's how that works. But in this world, it's different. So how dare we think that our kids can handle money? But there are some 50-year-olds that can't handle money and their kids can't help them. So there's a lot that each of them can like teach it. Because I learned from my daughter, from my 12-year-old, I learned from my 21-year-old, and they learned from me. So if there was some type of window there, like a meeting point, like a happy place, and I wanted to have a happy place for them to come, and I wanted a truth bubble, a safety bubble where they can come as well. And then I wanted to, I'm not trying to like mix up the ages, but we know it's like different moms will have different age groups. So it could be the people with older daughters, they can give advice for the folks with the younger daughters and vice versa so that they'll know what to step into. So this is where I'm at. Now I just gotta get it out my mind and put it down and finish my book and do all this. But I work. The other day I worked from 5 in the morning until 12 at night. I'm exhausted when I get home, right? So I gotta I got, I'm doing overtime now. I'm doing as much as I can so that we can have money to pay things off and to do things, we got to have that. So, but in that course, like Lisa said, it's so funny because I always say that I punch a time clock for God. I'm always on this clock. And when Lisa said, watching y'all live, and I seen you with the flags, it was so awesome. Yay. Lisa said, punch your own time or time clock, which I've always done. But she made it real when she said, write down your time that you actually spend. So I gotta find that time. I got all this great stuff that's up here, but it's not helping me unless you know how to do a Vulcan mind link. Then that doesn't work. Then I gotta get out. So my problem right now is just time of just finding time of getting it out so I don't have to work my 9 to 5, which turns into a 9 to 9, and then I'm tired when I get home. So on the bus, y'all should see me. I'm like writing and I'm at like every stop. Like I have notebooks full of stuff, but I gotta. Now that you told me to focus on one thing, it just made more sense. And all the big book that I was going to do with the different chapters, all those chapters have now become books.
Yeah.
So I can have a series of books. So I have chapters like I have these cool chapters. One of them is called Guard Your Grill. That's an old school term, right? But guard your grill means to watch the words that come out of your mouth. I'm just saying it in a cooler time. So the title of my book, so I'm finally going to tell you this, Vic. The title of my book, because I want it to be hip and fun, right? Is, here we go. I'm so nervous telling you this. It's Chicks, Please Guard Your C's, your cookie, your cookie, your crown, and your cash. So your mind and your virginity and your money.
Yeah.
And it's for the young, because there's lots of stuff that they don't know. And it's so funny because whenever I've mentioned this book just to a handful of folks, the older women are like, wow, that's a book that I want to read.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's geared for the young girls, but it's
nobody ever taught anybody. Nobody's taught
exactly.
So that's why the older ones want it, and that's why they would be so excited to go with their daughters, because they weren't taught it either. I mean, this is going to be amazing to get both groups together and make such an impact on 2 generations.
Yeah, there's a need for it.
Yeah.
There's a need. So much stuff that I didn't learn, and not that my mom wasn't great, but it was just things that I didn't learn that I had to figure out. And I always said, when I taught the kids from when I worked at the recreational center, I worked there for like 20 years. That was my second job with my other job. It's really crazy. I worked like 7 days a week, but I loved it. And they called me Miss Apples. That's a long story, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And I always said in my mind, God, I wish I had a Miss Apples when I was young. I've had older women say, man, you're so good with my daughter. I wish I had a Miss Apples when I was young. And I get this from both sides. So now I just gotta find the time. Like right now is like a great time, like after this call. So we have our daughter, so we gotta take her to practice. So maybe today on Mondays, when I'm supposed to be off and I do so much more, I can actually sit. But yesterday I worked, like I had church and then and I had to dance. And right after church, I left church at like 11:30. I had to work my second job from like 12 until 12 at night. And I bring my work everywhere I go. But I really got to, so my problem now is finding that time to get all this stuff out of my head and get all of my notes into one book, into one notebook.
So when we get into, and just so you know that the book section, month 2 and 4, is open in the modules in the membership site. So those are there. And I did record videos for each of the sections in month 1. I will do that for month 2, but I haven't gotten 2 through 4. I haven't gotten to that yet. There are only 4 modules in the book writing for month 2 through 4, and it has a schedule of how to break down everything and how to structure and how to.
Oh, I need that.
So basically, what you need to do is go into your book, take the big theme, think about what is the transformation you want for them at the end of this, like aim towards that, right? And then chunk it down into all the different chapters, and then have subtopics in those chapters. So maybe the topic on their mind, right? Be careful about what you say, or I don't know all the other things, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there might be 5 different things. And then whether you have that already written in your journal or whether you need to write it, I think something that might be helpful for you is, and I keep going back to this Otter app because I love Otter so much. That Otter app, like while you're driving your daughter, like every time you're on this call, you're in the car, right?
Yes.
So I'm imagining you spend a lot of time in your car, and you just put your earbud in and transcribed, like just voice dictated. If you were talking to a mom, right? Pretend you're talking to somebody, basically is what I'm saying. If you're talking to a mom or a millennial or whoever it is about that topic, what would you be sharing? And include the stories that you would be sharing too through your life or with examples from other people, right?
Yeah.
So you want to always have a point to everything and support that point with your stories, with case studies and examples, right? So all you need to do is, let's say, and I'm going to use this as a vague example, let's say your theme, right? You have 10 chapters of your book, and each of those chapters has 3 points that you want to make, right? Each of those points is about the size of, let's say, a long blog post. We're talking like 600, 750 words or something like that. We're talking you speaking for 5 minutes, right? 10 minutes. And transcribe it, put it into Otter. And again, Otter is artificial intelligence. So it makes a lot of mistakes. Just like, artificial intelligence on Facebook likes to call me the worst lady instead of the words lady. Yeah, it's constantly transcribed as, hey, I'm Vickie, the worst lady. Great. So I'm like, words, not worst. Anyways, so it does make mistakes like that. And so sometimes when you read it, you'll be like, wait, that's not what I said. But like it's connected to the audio too. So you can like rewind and then see what part.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. Otter.
OTTER?
Yeah. So the app, let me show you what it looks like. It's this one. Can you see it? This blue, it has a white background with a blue.
I see it.
That's what it looks like. So it's otter.ai. And then when you go into it, you just basically, there's a little button on the bottom with a microphone, and it'll ask you to set stuff up first. So you set it up using your own voice, like it asks you to say something, and then like it recognizes your voice after that. And then whenever you want, you just hit this button to record, and then
wow.
So while I'm talking, it's actually typing it out. You see that?
Oh.
So now you can just talk instead of typing your book while you're in the car, and you're going to save yourself so much time.
Do you know there are so many times when I'm on the bus and I'm by myself and I'm saying, as a result of working with me, because I'm working on my thing here, and I do that all the time, like on the bus, because I can't drive and write like all the time, and I do have times when there's nobody there, and I'm like, as a result of working with me, my goal is to, and sometimes I can't remember what I just said. And it's like, God, that was good. What did I say, Rhonda? I don't know, Rhonda, what did you say? I don't know. So that would be awesome sauce for. Okay, so question, you
get 600 minutes per month for free with Otter.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like,
I'd use that up in a minute.
That's your whole book, man.
Yeah. I'm going to get that because I need that. That would be so awesome. And that can pretty much write the book for you.
Yep, exactly. And it's pretty much free. So basically, all you need to do is, whether you're handwriting it out or you stick it in the notes on your phone, just make sure you have all your 10 chapters and all the subpoints that you want to talk about. And if you have time sitting in the bus someday, just pop it open and look at whichever one that comes to you. And I always tell people, write the chapter that comes to you the fastest. It doesn't necessarily have to be in order. That day, something might have happened that hits you that you're like, oh my gosh, this is just so great.
Happens all the time,
Part 2, just open it up and just do that particular chapter.
So I can take it. So let's say I do the middle chapter or the second chapter first and the fifth chapter then the first, it can move a whole, like I can copy and paste it and move it.
So
or
you don't want to label all, what they call them are conversations. So each time you start and stop the recording, you'll want to label that. So like label it chapter 1, part 2, whatever it actually is, like the actual topic. And then you can send that to your computer as a text and copy and paste it into a Word doc.
Ah,
So then you can rearrange it however you want after that.
that's awesome. Okay. Okay. So question. So what did you think about my title?
I like it. I like it a lot. It's just like a blur.
It's like, because I wanted something that, like, I wanted something that folks say, whoa, what did that just say?
Yeah.
And then my daughter, that's 21, I said, China, because I had so many different books. And her and my husband both said, Mom, you've got like 20 books here. This is not one big book. So then I had to pick one.
Right.
One. And I told her that, okay, so I'm not gonna lie. So at first I had to work, okay, y'all, so y'all just bear with me and my thoughts. Because the first title was Coochie and not Cookie. And then my daughter said this. She said, Mom, Coochie is an old school word. We don't really relate to that word. And I said, was it too much? And she says, no, but just don't use that word, cookie, because I'm all about words rhyming and it's got a flow. And she said, cookie. And I said, oh, cookie means the same thing. So I took it. So coochie was the first word, but I didn't want to go too strong because I want this for like everybody. Like, and what I want to do is in the book reference to other stuff, like if you like, or on my page reference to my other books. They're not written yet, but I've got bits and pieces, right? Like, so I have a title, and it's called Sniff Sniff. Girl, is that you? So just sniff sniff. So the sniff sniff, like, what am I smelling here? Like, is that your underarm? Is that your body odor? Is that your breath? Like, is that your hair? Right? Because lots of girls don't know that. They don't like.
Or is it your cookie?
Well, huh?
Or is it your cookie?
Hey, listen. You never know.
Wait a minute.
Jack said, wait a minute. But you would be, but we all know that there are times that we, like, anytime that my kids came and I'm like, whoa, what is this? It can be an onion. And lots of times they don't know. So I taught lots of girls how to bring wipes, how to wipe. Lots of girls don't. They may do just one line. Lots of girls don't wash under their arms good. They don't wash their legs good. They don't clean out their ears. Just little stuff that we think that we're supposed to know. How to change their pads, how long to actually wear them, right? You would be surprised the girls that I mentored that didn't know that. And their moms were beauty queens, these gorgeous women, and just assume. So I have titles like that. So on my page, I would say, all right, you guys, we're going to talk about this, but that's in a different book. You have to get this book and just give them a piece of it.
I think what would be really great with that is that, because we put our books on Amazon, we don't always get emails from Amazon, right? And after we do the bestseller launch, we're really going to take control of selling those books through our own platforms, right? But we still want them to opt into other things and get other things. So what would be really cool is for you to put in those books, if you have the reference and a little blurb written of it, you can say, hey, but that's in another one of my books. But if you want a little sneak peek, because it doesn't have to be all written, right? But if you want a little sneak peek, it's right here. And you send them to a landing page. They opt in for that particular thing, and they get their little sneak peek to that book.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay. So throughout yours, I could see how that could happen. And I also think that, Rhonda, you are just so hilarious. So you need to have some videos. Like, these girls are really—
I love it.
And like just talking, and even like they didn't know how to, just how you just automatically do stuff like that. That's in your personality. That's going to shine through so much in video. So I would really encourage you to start a YouTube video and start having real talk, straight talk, whatever you want to call it, DMs with Rhonda, right? Like, because you're going to just tell them how it really is and tell them the truth, not sugar coated, and tell them that they need to know that nobody's telling them. And that's really, really grow your audience while you're writing the book. So every time you do like a little blurb on Otter, switch over one day and just do a quick 3-minute thing on the bus if you have time, post that on YouTube, and then whenever you're writing your book, if there's a thing that connects with it, then you can just connect them to YouTube every time. So it's like an interactive experience. Because on Kindle, the cool thing about Kindle or any kind of app, the links are live. So they can just click over and go there.
Wow, okay.
Okay? So that's what I would really encourage you to do, is start that YouTube channel like yesterday.
Okay. I have a YouTube page that I had to use when I was in a warfare class, and we had to dance, and we had to show our dances. I don't know if I can use that page because I really don't know how to set it up. Babe, do you know how to do a YouTube page? Look at his face.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm going to tell you guys, because I'm not the tech teacher in this program. Everything is Googleable.
Through that.
Everything is YouTubeable. There's also some instructions, step-by-step stuff. I think you should incorporate you can do a playlist that has dance moves, and you can have a playlist
I would love that.
topics. You could even align some of those topics with the same topics in your chapters, like however you want to do it. But once you
I want to have an old school, new school challenge. Like show the parents the new dances and then show the kids the older dances.
Yeah. That would
be cool. And in my snap, I don't have done yet, that my husband has helped me with. So I'm like, I have one of my things that I actually say, hey, one of the things that I actually say is other than why you would be my good client is one of my books is New School Values with Old School Rules. So that's one of the things that's in my snap that I teach the millennials how to have old school values with new school rules. And it's for the parents too, because some of the rules that we used to follow don't apply now. But a lot of those old school things too, opening doors and just different things. But there's a lot of the stuff that the new kids do that the old school does not. Like they have access to phones that we didn't have. So they can push a button with SEX and learn a whole lot. So they're more advanced than we ever were. And the parents got to know that. But on the same note, you got to know that you're not supposed to chase a guy. The guy's supposed to open the door. Like, it's some things that's not supposed to change.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But just focus on your first book.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, that's in my snap.
Okay.
I think it's going to be messed up. I don't know. I'm working on my snap.
Yeah, your snap, which I call it ABC, needs to be about moms and teens, moms and millennials, or whatever, the mom thing. So work on that one first. Okay?
Okay. Got you. So don't worry about my snap.
Don't worry about making it so encompassing. I want it to be about the mom and daughter thing, because everything is about the mom and daughter thing right now, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have workshops on it. You're doing your dance stuff with it. You're doing your book for it, and then whatever program or retreats or whatever that you're going to do, because I eventually see you having high-level retreats with these moms and daughters, right?
That would be so awesome,
Like I said, it really reminds me of Secret Keeper Girls, but better.
Yes.
Actually. So much better.
That's an awesome thing.
I feel like Secret Keeper Girls, it's conservative.
It's tamed.
It's tamed, right? And you are just... I am gonna tell you how it is. Like, I love that about you.
I want to have a DJ and having fun and just stuff, and then we bring it down.
Right? Yeah, it's a huge experience, and people buy and love experiences. Eventually, who knows? Maybe you'd be on a cruise ship.
Vickie, that's so funny.
What?
Because the name of the conference that I want to have is called Experience.
Ah.
That's the name of it. Because I want them I want them to walk in, and this is just something that I just thought of, that is different rooms, and that the girls walk into different rooms, and let's just say that in one of the rooms, right? So let's say that the conference is your cash crown, right?
Yeah.
So one of the rooms, there's some girls there that walk in with them, and they're wearing something short, and they just start dancing, and they drop it like it's hot, blah, blah, blah. And so some of the other girls are talking about them, or either they join in, then they go into a different room, and there's something about money money there, but like there's a snack room with some overpriced stuff and some underpriced stuff, blah blah blah. So when they get in to the big room, then we, is a DJ going, blah blah, and then we say, so y'all just went into 3 different rooms. So how many of y'all talked about the girls dropping like it's hot, and how many of y'all joined the girls? Let me tell you why that's good and why that's bad.
Yeah.
For the money part, you never paid $10 for a Pepsi, no matter, because one of the things with the millennials now, they don't care what, they make a whole lot more money than we ever made, though, if I can say that. But they have no problem spending money on whatever. They'll spend $10 on a Pepsi. Like it's nothing. I've seen them do it. So just to say, so who went in the room and who was going to buy this and who saved? Like I want an experience. I want to do something like that.
Yeah. Fabulous. I love it. I love all of it. You just want to make sure, that keep your vision and focus in line for this is the first step. This is the entryway.
Yes.
This is the book. These are the things that, and then the big experience, right? Because it's a
I gotta stop scrolling.
Huh?
I gotta stop scrolling.
It's not that you're squirreling. I love that you have this big vision because that gives you the motivation and the forethought, right? For the things that are coming up in the future. So you have something to work for. I think that's great. I just want to make sure that you're not just thinking about that because these other things beforehand have to get put into place so that can actually happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Because yours is really going to be way more than anybody else in this group is about growing more of a community, getting in front of way more people because yours is this big event experience that the more people are there, probably, the better the vibe and energy is going to be. Whereas for the rest of the group, they don't need as many people. Right? So yours is a little different in that way. And I just want to point out, and I know you're on your phone and you always tell me you don't know how to work the thing, but Tame is giving you hordes and hordes and hordes of love.
Listen, I kept missing it. I said that I got to go back because I said something great. I saw something and I'm watching you. I said, oh, there's something down there. And I kept saying, Rhonda, don't squirrel. But I think that I'm supposed to read.
Yeah, Tame is like writing to you. So while I work
okay. Thank you, Tame. Thank you, love.
While I work with Rhonda next, you can go back and look at all the love that she's giving you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I receive it. I just wasn't reading it, girl. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's hard for me to read and to talk to you at the same time, but I do see the wow and the fabulous and yes and the oh my gosh, it's so great kind of stuff going on, and I want to make sure that you see it.
I'm so glad you said it because I saw some stuff and I'm like, I got to look at Vickie. I have to focus. Rhonda, don't squirrel because I'll see something go, oh, pretty picture, pretty good. So I'm trying to focus. Thank you, Tame. I will look at it.
All right, cool. So you good, Rhonda?
Yes.
You got the full picture and everything and what you're, okay, awesome.
Otter.
And target audience is good. Message is good, I think. What you're offering and then how that all leads up.
Okay, got it. Thank you, yay.
Awesome. Okay, Rhonda Wood. How's it going?
Hi, how are you guys?
How's it going?
Rhonda's waving at me. Hi, everybody. So can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So first I just wanted to say that I'm so happy to be here. And I just wanted to really quick just ask if you guys could just keep me in your prayers. Had a death in the family, and the funeral is this Friday. And I'm actually I'm at the family's house right now, helping to work on some of the arrangements and things of that nature. So I just really would appreciate if you guys could keep me in your prayers. I'm sorry, turn up my volume a little bit. Keep me in your prayers for my family, especially for my daughter. I think I've mentioned before that she sort of struggles with mental health, anxiety and depression. And so of course, bad news kind of escalates that. And so just kind of shifting back and forth between those two things have been a bit challenging for the past week and a half for me. So I have definitely been, haven't met a challenge that I didn't grab by the horns and take full on. So this is not going to deter me from my goal and being focused and things of that nature. But I've just had to kind of shift my attention a little bit to take care of those things. So I am still excited about the program and ramped up. I just haven't been able to make as much progress as I had wanted to, just because I've had to kind of shift my attention a little bit. So,
so would you mind if we just took a moment right this minute so that none of us forget to say that prayer?
Sure. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Ready?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I appreciate it. Sure.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, I lift up Rhonda to you and this family with the death and her daughter, and I pray that you give her comfort during this time in the family as well, and that you help her daughter with the anxiety and the depression and everything that comes with it. I pray that you give clarity to Rhonda for what she can do to support, and also that Rhonda gets the support that she needs during this time.
Yes. Yes, God.
I pray too that you just put a hedge of safety and love and support around her, from us, from those who are close by to her, and from the family and friends that can be there. I pray that this time will also bring some comfort to everybody, and that Rhonda will be able to grow and to be able to complete the things that she needs to in the rest of the areas in her life and not be stressed out.
Yes.
With her at all times, let her feel your presence, hold her hand, and be with her day and night. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I think this is the first program I've ever been in where someone stopped and prayed for me. It was so lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, so often we say that we're going to do something, and then we'll hop off and we think about it, and then we get to doing the rest of the stuff during our day. And I didn't want to forget, and I didn't want to, leave you without the prayers that we promised you that we would have. So I hope that gives you some comfort.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Definitely appreciate it.
All right. So again, we are talking about your program that you're going to have. Your book is going to lead up to, so we can get clarity. I think I've said it multiple times. Month one is really about just making sure that you have your target audience nailed down, because that's the same as your reader. Getting the message clear, because that's pretty much the same message that's going to be in your book. And then having the program together so that it's that seamless thing where, they get to know you, you nurture them, and then they're like, oh yeah, this is the next logical step. So let's talk about that, or where you need help with that, so we can get some clarity.
Okay. So in full transparency, I have not focused a whole lot on my program. But I will say that when I sort of started out with the financial coaching that I sort of did before, I think I mentioned in the last call that I did sort of some personal development and then some also sort of financial coaching. I had started a program, but I didn't finish it. I think I sort of did an outline for like 6 modules, but lately I've had difficulty really embracing the thought of financial coaching. I feel like the primary reason I do it is just for the business aspect, because I feel like it's a money-making niche, but I don't feel like my heart is 100% into it. I feel like it could be a part of a different type of program. And maybe I'm not thinking in terms of the right type of packaging or messaging. Maybe I need to focus a little bit more on that. But when I think about sort of, I know that I'm really good at financing, and I love to talk about money, and I teach people about money, but most of the people that I talk to can't afford, they need help with money. And so therefore they're not in a position to buy any high price packages about save, or most of them don't want to. They just don't have that attitude. So like, I don't want to change what I'm doing. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong crowd, but that's sort of where I am with that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my coaching, like I said, recently has been more in the sort of personal development. Obviously, I do a lot of writing and speaking about to women and empowerment, and being your authentic you and taking off your mask, and taking off that superwoman cape. And a lot of women around my age, mid 40s, are in transition. So a lot of them, their kids are sort of grown, they're leaving the house, they're like, hey, I hate this job, and I don't want to work here anymore. And so that's
Right.
sort of where I've been stepping in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, a latter part of that, once you kind of know the direction that you want to go, and you're sort of, walking in and using your God-given gifts and walking in your purpose, then we can kind of see, okay, well, how can you monetize that? So I kind of feel like that's where the financial piece comes in. So that's kind of been my thing. Like, well, I love talking about money, but a lot of people are, they're either broke and can't afford these high price packages, or they are, or they just don't want to change. Yes, I know that I spend too much and I want to keep doing that. And so that's kind of where I am. As a matter of fact, we have two speaking engagements this week that focus on sort of mental health, taking care of you, self-care, things of that nature. One on Tuesday and one on Wednesday. They kind of don't focus on finances per se.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like I'm stepping a little bit back. I should be a little bit forward, but I'm kind of still sort of in that space.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're saying to me that you're not really feeling the financial coaching.
Exclusively,
Although you love
no.
to talk about money.
Yes.
Do you want to empower women more? And talk about their self-care, or what other things?
Yeah. So let me back up just a little bit. So the other thing is that the other thing I guess that I'm sort of forward thinking about as well is not confusing my audience when it comes to my marketing. So for example, we have these I write articles about mental health because, of course, that's really personal to me. I'm supporting someone with mental health. And then, I struggle with mental health to a certain degree as well. So when we share our journeys, people say, hey, how can we learn more? They'll follow us on social media. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, shouldn't my social media and my program and my Facebook and my website and all those things be connected to what I'm speaking about? Like, what if I'm talking about these experiences that I'm having and how we've overcome, or how we're coping and how we're winning, and then they see things about finances? Won't that be confusing? So that's sort of where my struggle is.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because when you talk about the finances, I know you have a lot of knowledge in that, but I really see a lot of passion going into helping people with their kids, with mental health, with all of that stuff. Like, and people are already coming to you for that, right? So I think it would be a great niche for you to be in, helping parents with children with mental health issues, or parents who have mental health issues raising children, just in general. How do you feel about doing that?
I feel better about that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's sort of in line with what I'm doing right now. So I think it'll just be easy for me to come up with content because I'm already writing about it. I'm talking about it. I'm sharing about it, giving testimonies about it.
Right.
People are calling me. Yeah.
Your daughter is such a fabulous example of all the things she's been able to accomplish, going to college early, like all of that stuff. And then, what you get to throw in about her going to college and not having debt, right? Because that's part of it too, right?
Yes.
So you can still kind of talk about it in that way, and you can still get some people in that financial realm as well. But I think your lead really is mental health.
Okay, that sounds good. So I actually have a question. how specific should the niche be? Should it be sort of broad, like mental health, or should it be like is too narrow not good, or kind of let's see, let me give it. So what parents or caregivers supporting loved ones with mental health, is that too general, or should it sort of be as specific as mothers with daughters who may have struggled with their mental health?
Mothers of daughters who struggle with mental health.
That specific.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Because
okay.
The thing is that those other people are going to come to you anyway when they hear your message. So the more specific you are, the more you can call out to that general population, and then you're going to get the extraneous other people. Like, but you could still help me, right? That's
right.
what's going to happen.
Okay.
So I think more specific is better. And then you can create a nice package to help those people, whether it's 3 months or 6 months. I don't know how long would it take. Okay, let me back up a second. What is it that those people want to have in their life that they don't have?
They want some, I think what they would ask me for are, I think they come to me with just, they don't know what to do. So I think they need tools, strategies, some hope, success, examples of success, things that have worked, so that they can use those to sort of help support their children to get to a better place.
Mm-hmm. So are these people who have tried therapy and it hasn't worked?
Yes.
Okay.
Or
so
a lot of it is what the parent is doing is not working.
Wait, say that again.
A lot of it is what the parent or the caregiver is doing currently is just not working. Their recipe isn't working. Well, I've tried this, and you know.
And most of them are getting that recipe from school, from therapists, from books, from.
Just a lot of it is, well, this is things that I've done that they're doing as a parent that maybe was passed down to them.
Okay. So basically, you want to call out to the moms who nothing has worked yet, whether it's the doctors, the therapists, the schools, or whatever. But they desperately want to see. I mean, all parents do, right? Want to see their kids succeed,
right?
And they don't want to see their kids in pain, and they don't want to see their kids suffer, right? I think most parents would pay just about anything to fix that problem. I'm not saying you gouge them or anything like that, but, you know, I don't think that it's difficult to get somebody to say yes to you. You just have to make sure that they see that this is different from everything that they've tried before. Because if they failed so many times, they're going to be very kind of, you know, leery about the next hot new thing or whatever, because so many things haven't worked in the past. So your messaging, I think it's really important to show the results from people you've helped, from your daughter, from, you know, whatever it is, so that they will see that you have been able to achieve those results, and you can then repeat and do it for them. Now, the other thing that I see is that sometimes they might think, well, you know, that kid that you helped, that parent child that you helped, may not be as bad off as we are. Our situation's a little bit different. You know how we all try to make ourselves more special than everybody else? I think that might happen too. So these are some of the objections. I would take some time and think about those objections that might come up that you want to overcome. And that becomes the social media stuff that you put out there. Does that make sense?
Yes,
so
that makes sense.
You're already getting them to believe in you, believe in your process before they get on the call with you, so that you're not convincing them on the call, because you don't want to convince them on the call. It's too short of a time. You need to nurture them into the belief in you and the belief in your process, and then the belief that it could happen for them.
Okay. Belief in me, belief in process, belief can happen for them. Okay.
Right. Right. So that's the thing that you want to make sure before they ever get on the call with you, they already understand those things. And I think you already do that fairly well, just in general by, and I don't see everything that you put out, obviously, but from the things that I have seen, I'm just like, wow, that's really amazing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really cool. What if that could happen for me? So I think it just will be a little bit of a, you know what? And if you think that your situation is beyond hope, it's not. I've helped plenty of people. I thought I was beyond hope. Blah, 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 blah. And all you have to do on your posts, because you do them anyway, like you said, is just add a little call to action. Reach out to me. Let me support you. Let's jump on a call and see if I can help make a change in your child's life. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
And you can also use the tip that I put in the modules about putting out opinions and feedback. Don't call it a survey, but just call it out and say, hey, are you a mom who has a child with mental health issues that basically nothing has happened? You've tried so many things and you just want to see them happy. I would love to get your opinions and feedback on these 3 quick questions. It'll just take you 2 minutes. And then you send them to a 3 question form. You want to put their name, their email. It's optional, obviously, those, but then the 3 questions, you want stuff that's going to be juicy for you. So you got to come up with those questions.
Right. Okay.
And then the 4th question is, as a thank you for giving me your opinion and feedback, I would love to give you a pitch-free 30-minute something, call it something nice. Assessment. I don't know if they want assessment because that sounds very medical. They might not. I use assessment, but you know what I'm saying. Don't call it a strategy session or anything like that. But give them a pitch-free 30 minutes and then send them to your calendar link. Have them put in their email, right? So if you'd like to claim this gift, put in your email below and then go here for your calendar link. So if you don't end up seeing them the appointment, then you can still write them and say, hey, I saw you put the email in. Did you need help finding a spot? Or was there, were the times inconvenient for you? Whatever, just start it. It's all about starting the conversation with them, right? And getting them to start talking to you so that you can move them onto this call. Okay, and then when you get on the call, you want to say to them, okay, we're doing a blah, blah, blah call, whatever you named it. And this goes is, so you want to go to the part 6 of month 1. It's the conversion module that kind of lays out how you want to share stuff with them. But yours is a little different because that's a sales conversation. Yours is not. So what you want to say in the beginning is, I promised you that this would be a pitch-free call, and it is. In the end, if I have a resource that I believe is going to be beneficial to you, I can let you know if you're interested in hearing about it. Is that okay? And they'll usually say yes. And then at the end, basically, you've helped them with some stuff, right? Give them one quick win that's really easy, a quick tip that's not too giving away all your stuff kind of thing, right? And a simple strategy. Then you ask them, hey, I've got this resource. I think it could really help you. Is that something you want to learn more about? And usually they'll say yes. And then you can get my program, blah, 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 blah. They'll completely forget about the whole, it was pitch free. Because it really is, because you ask them, do you want to hear about it? So if they say no, then, you're done. It's okay. But you can either continue on the conversation there and tell them about it, or you can say, hey, our time is up. I want to respect your time. Would you like to continue now? Because I do have time until my next appointment. Would you want to set up a new time to talk about this resource? Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. Because I really do see that you already have an audience that's following you for this. They're already watching you. So getting them to get on the sales calls should be fairly easy. And then you just have to have that confidence when you're talking to them to say, you know what, it's 3 months or 6 months at $3,000, $6,000, whatever you decide it is.
Okay.
So what you really need to find out first is what is the outcome that they want, what is that thing that they're really willing to pay for, and then revolve your program around how long it's going to take the average person to get results with you for that, right? Because
Okay.
the program, right? Because the program isn't, oh well, everybody's average program is 3 months, or everybody's average program is 6 months. It's more a matter of how long do they need to get the results.
Okay. Got
So
it.
base the length of your program on the results, and then decide, you know, you're going to have to decide too, is a parent who is dealing with a mental health issue with their child going to be able to meet with you every week? Or are they going to be too busy? Are they want to meet you every other week? Is it 30 minutes? Is it 45 minutes? Is it an hour? So have those things nailed down so that when people are ready to talk to you and they say, okay, well, what does it look like? Right? Yeah, I know I'm going to get to this outcome, but what does that look like? Okay, well, in the course of 6 months, we're going to have 12 sessions, and they're going to be 30 minutes long. I'm going to share with you the strategies, and then in between, you'll have email support with me, because I know there are going to be some days that they're going to have an emergency, and they're going to want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't know if you want to incorporate that, like you get one emergency extra call every month, you know, or if you want to do Voxer support, or, you know, however you want to do it. But so that they can get to that result, or at least move significantly in that direction by the time they're done with you.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. Does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So then that program is going to lead into your book.
Yes.
And then the book now is about moms with children with mental health issues.
I can do that.
Yeah. That should fall out of your head pretty easy, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. And I think what would be great with you is even some just nice, real talk interviews with you and your daughter. Now, I don't know if she's up for that or if you want to do that with her or not, but I think that would be really nice for people to hear stuff from her side.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, you're the mom. So obviously they're going to be the mom who's buying the program. So they see it from that perspective, but they also want to see it from the other perspective of how that works. And if it felt, you know, like forced, or if it was something that was easy, to, right? So I think some of that would be great too. If we just like interviews on your Facebook, you can also save those on YouTube as well.
Okay, cool.
And just like Rhonda, the other Rhonda, you can link those in your book once you do them. You know, through the Kindle app, you can link sections of your book to these talks that you're having with your daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sound good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so you feel a little more clear now? Does that feel good?
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
You're welcome. And, you know, if you do want to add a little chapter about the money part, I think that would be appropriate too, because I think that there's always a financial burden when people are dealing with any kind of illness.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Good?
Yes, thank you.
All right. All right, Tammy. Oh, there you are. I was like, just as she walks out of the picture. Tammy! Yeah.
Wow, this is amazing stuff. I'm so glad that I got to listen in first. And, you know, I do apologize for, just a moment, for the post that I made that I'm sure you're referring to. I did want to say, though, that because of the authenticity of that post, Vickie reached out to me, and she provided me with so much help in terms of being able to continue to move forward instead of letting me hang there and dangle, because Rhonda was going through a lot of intense stuff. And while Rhonda and I have made a commitment to be there for each other, I was still needing someone to help me from the group, if possible, to help me move forward because I knew you were not available. And so the information she gave me was brilliant. We've spoken on the phone, and it's been very, very, very helpful. And I'm truly appreciative to you, Vickie. I know that you're going to watch this later because you're getting ready to go to the conference with other Vickie. So aloha to you. And then the other thing is that it was not my intention to be negative. That's why I did try to reach out. I'm taking responsibility for this. That's why I did try to reach out on the side. And when you were saying, oh, post it, I was like, there's no way for me to communicate what's going on without being honest. And so that's why it took so much time for me to try and pretty up the language. And I'm so glad in a way that I did post how much time we were dedicating. It was not meant to be a complaint so much as to reveal to you that we were really pouring in the effort. Like we weren't just like, you know, showing up for like 10 or 15 minutes and be like, hey, how you doing? And then spending the rest of the time gossiping or watching something on TV together. We were actually watching your videos with you and pausing. And then we're like, okay, so what do you get out of that? What do we do now? And I mean, like, Rhonda, if anything, when I was scrolling in deeper, I was like, oh, she mentioned that there's another video, another module. She's like, no, we don't have time. I'm like, oh, but we need to know how to do this. So we've been supporting each other, you know, through this process. And it has been very challenging, as you can see. I mean, you know, my heart goes out to her and her family and what you're going through. And I know that in between this, you guys don't get to hear about, you know, when her daughter is having to have more support and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for letting me listen in on all of your creative genius. I got so much out of being able to be last. And I did log in last. In all fairness, I did log in last.
I thought you logged in second, but you know.
Yeah, I know. Like that would have been cool, but I was like, I have to tell myself and be honest and be like, well, Rhonda Woods was actually there before me. You know, I love to give credit where credit is due, and she certainly deserved it. And I had the screen off, not because I was pouting or anything, but because I had a major spill in my kitchen, and I did not want you to see the major spill and distract you from the wonderful content that you guys were delivering, which is why I was taking notes and then typing in stuff, as you could tell.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate all the support that you're giving everybody, all the love and encouragement.
Yeah, I love everybody.
And I can really see that, like that all the people going ahead of you, you got something out of it. So
I did. It helped me a little bit more. Now, like Rhonda said, that was one of our biggest things is we kept having trouble progressing because we were trying to decide on our niche. You know, in order to be able to do the in order to be able to do, and I know, by the way, thank you for all the detail that you gave me on my that was what I was thirsty for. I was like, how do I, you know, and then when I listened to your 45-minute talk, I was like, I got more, you know, but it's still, I knew it wasn't there, you know, so thank you for walking me through each one of these and looking at each one and saying, okay, da-da-da-da-da-da. And that helped me a lot. And I didn't get to go back and see if you did the same thing for my my snap, where I'm like, look, this is the problem I'm trying to address. I hope that helped. And then
I did go back because I saw your new posts, and so I think you might have missed it somewhere. Just type in the discussion. I think if you search on ABC,
okay,
come back up, and then I did a video on that one as well too.
Okay, great, because I didn't see that one, and I would love to watch that one. So yes, I think that's the greatest thing is that you're right. A lot of the books right now that are out there about having a full life, and you know, really, like we talked last week, last class, it's one thing that has all these other symptoms, and it looks like it's a bunch of different things, but it actually comes down to one thing. Excuse the banana in my hand. So the thing is, like, how do I, because I thought that's why I thought I would just deal with family relationships essentially. I'm talking about, you know, forming a family, so you become a couple, as well as when you're a couple, like you said, save a marriage, and then finally also become better parents, because that parenting thing is the key, but we can't be good parents unless we clean up our own stuff. It's kind of like this wheel. It's like I can't pick the chicken from the egg. Like it's kind of like I have to do both. Yeah. Because if you don't form a healthy relationship to begin with, then you can't really help. And a lot of people are single parents.
Right.
So that's why I felt the need to address kind of like the triad at the same time in the first book. And I do agree that it's multiple books. I don't think that it's one shot. You're going to have to deal with me for a long time, Vickie. I'm sorry. I'm letting you know. Yeah, I know you would have run out screaming in the other direction, like, no.
No, I love you all. Love you all. But you know what, Teme? I am so glad that you said something right now, is that it's the parenting, but it goes back to if you don't have the good marriage, if you don't have whatever, because
Yes.
I have been thinking all this time, I'm like, okay, if Tame cannot pick her lane, I'm going to pick it for her, and it's going to be the parenting angle. And I really think that you can actually, underneath that umbrella, talk about those other things, so you actually get all of it in one.
Now, do you think I will get people who are, I know there's a lot of people out there in pain, and I know there's a lot of people who are looking for solution, and they're at that place, kind of like what Rhonda's talking about, where, my God, I've tried so many things, they haven't worked, we've tried this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know that the number one issue is that mental health does not get addressed. It's supposed to be on parity, and it's not. And so it's really hard to get funding, especially when you've got like what looks like a troubled teen or anything. But the thing is, I want to get to it before they become troubled teens. That's the whole point, is that it's much easier to prevent than it is to fix. And I mean, and it's harder to get a teen to sit and do the meditation work that we would have to do, because I do I call in the divine, and it does the work for them. It's not me doing it.
Right.
But them being willing to sit down and actually do it, right?
Okay, y'all crack me up, because Rhonda is moms and teens, and the other Rhonda is mostly mental health, and now you're just like, or they're all so different though, right? They are all so different, but also very needed. And it just is a testament to what the environment is like in the world today, right?
Yes, it is. And many moms, let's face it, many moms are single parents, and many of them are living below the poverty line. So this whole thing about, oh, well, we only got together because of finances. It's like, you know what? If you look at statistically speaking, they can't afford the programs. They need them the most. And I would love to, and I've always, from the very beginning, said I will have always a percentage of people that I like, and I love the way you said scholarship people in, so that gives me another avenue to let people in without giving them a free ride, but at the same time, like allowing there to be other people that could, you know what I mean? So that's a challenge.
That subset of people who is going to allow you to get to your 6 figures, so that you can also have these other programs that will address the women who are below the poverty.
Right. Which is why I do hesitate about going into the parent thing only, because that's, like I said, when you do the parenting thing, like I said, it's more like the chicken first. It's like, if the parents have it right, it's like when the great story where Gandhi comes, the mom brings in her child and she says, tell him to stop eating sugar. And he says, okay, come back in 4 days. Right? You know that story? Okay. So the reason, so then, she brings her child back in 4 days, and then Gandhi says, your mother wants you to stop eating sugar. And the mom says, what was that about? You could have told him that 4 days ago. And he said, because 4 days ago, I too was eating sugar. So it's always about cleaning ourselves up first.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But like you said, you can't sell the work. You can't be like, okay, moms, this is what we're going to do.
Right, you can't sell the
I'm
work.
going to put you through the crucible.
Yeah, you got to sell the fun, and you got to sell the, hey, this is easy. And because deep down, we all know that it's work, right? We all know. We're not fooled that it's not going to be work. But we want it to feel like something that is actually achievable, something that we can see, something that is going to be workable in our life.
But here's one of the things, like when I talk about the safety to grow and change, I think this is where it's really difficult, because we've become a society where we've literally decided that the other person, and I don't necessarily mean our children, but the other person is disposable. And here's what I mean by that. We're all about, oh, I can get a divorce. I can just get a new one. I'm so unhappy, as opposed to, no, we've got an issue here. We need to work on it, and we need to fix it. We're more likely to do that with our children than with our significant other. And I'm not saying that, especially with the way consciousness is now, that there aren't relationships where you need to do that. When it's abusive, you clearly need to get out, whether it's physically abusive or someone that we now identify as being a narcissist. And, the terms always change, right? It depends on which era you're in terms of how we label that kind of that hurtful, harmful behavior.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree that there's that going on, but for the most part, there's a lot of times where we're like, oh, we just grew apart. He became like my roommate. We keep, instead of realizing, no, that means now this is where you sweeten the wine. This is where you go into making it happen. So that's why I know you're saying focus on the parents, but on the kids, but I'm like, but the parent thing, because the kids see that and they learn that.
Right.
I'm disposable because he was disposable.
Mm-hmm.
But I need my dad and I want my mom. Every child's dream is for both their parents, even though they don't get along beautifully, when they want their parents to be together.
Oh,
they
yeah.
want them to work it out.
Absolutely. My daughter got divorced from her dad, and he didn't have anyone, right? And I was getting married to my now husband. She had this grand idea that daddy was going to live in our basement and we'd just be all together.
Right.
I'm like,
right.
No.
Can't imagine why, but yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. They definitely want that. And even as they get older, they want it too. They still hold on to that hope that their parents are going to get together. I don't know if it ever goes away. But whatever angle that you go at, I think you need to pick a main angle.
Right.
So, and I see where your stuff does spider, right?
Yeah, but it breaks out very quickly.
It has to have a main thing that you're talking about. And the book has to have a main thing that you're talking about. So whether you want to go with the parent-child relationship and how that has to actually start with the other things, or whether you want to talk about having a great marriage and loving relationships as an example to the child, and then that kind of spiders in that direction, it's got to start one place.
It's very troubling. And I think the hard part is that it really is the chicken and the egg. It really is. It's so hard. Because when you're dealing with people who are already immersed in problems, you're not necessarily dealing with people who want to get rid of their problem. Many of them just want to talk about their problem and stay in it.
Right.
And that's where I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in helping them move through. Go ahead and share your problem with me. I understand that you have to be heard and felt, but at the same time, it's like, how do I help you? Are you willing to move past that? And so, but I just, the thing about working with couples that are trying to find each other, too many times it's about, selling the romantic love as opposed to selling, romance is great. And I love romance. I think it is an important part of it. Just like, the sexuality, all that kind of stuff, the sex appeal, that is an important part of it. But the main heart of it is that love that, means that we are going to work through whatever it is, that I'm here for you and you're here for me, that whole thing. Because too many times it's like, that sounds like a personal problem to me. Bye. Sounds like your problem, your issue, as opposed to, no, we have a problem. Let's do this.
Yeah. But isn't it's all the same too, though, it's the spousal relationship, and then it's also the child.
Yeah. And the other thing is, when a new parent comes in nowadays, it's become like they're hostile with each other instead of setting the parameters of like, this is your parent. This is also your mother, or also your father, not a replacement, but also. And so it is about allowing that parent to have the same connection, authority, and that child to build the same bond with that parent in terms of intimacy, in terms of friendship. Because let's face it, there's lots of us who've gone on and said, oh, she is like a mother to me, or she's more like a father, or he is more like a father to me than my own, that is very possible. And yet we don't give them permission or space to do that in a family, a new form family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which angle are you going to go from? I'm going to make you nail this down, because you got to nail it down before you.
No, I know. And I don't know how, because like I said, all three of them, they all tie into the other so much. Should I take the happiest route, which is about helping couples, consciously couple? But, the thing is, Americans are so optimistic. 90% of us will actually get married. We will. But, the divorce statistics are horrific because we don't work on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because we believe in the fairy tale from the movies and TV.
Right. Nobody shows the day-to-day, how it really works out. That is not about, like you can love your child and be really enraged with them, but you don't disown your child, So that's the thing, is this same thing with when you're in a relationship, is that, like I said, except for the really bad, really extremes, we need to be willing to do the same thing in our relationship. And it's too often one or the other that is just decided. Or a lot of people say, yeah, we're married for life except, and you don't know what that hidden accept clause is, their get out of jail free card. You don't know what it is because they haven't shared it. They're not even often aware of it because it's so buried.
Right.
And that's the work that I do you don't have to consciously become aware of it. You really don't. You just, that's not what the focus is. The focus is on healing. And then in the process of healing, then you become aware of, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, I didn't know, or I can see this.
Yeah.
So dang it, I don't know. Because I don't want to be seen as the love romance person. It is really about connection. And I don't want it to be like the whole heady, airy-fairy. It's like the reality of love is what I want to do. That's it. The reality of love, the reality of connection, like what it really is, and how we've distorted it. And to be honest, when I was saying discover your zing, if you ever watch that movie, Hotel Transylvania, it really is about how you will get a signal inside of your heart. There's something that resonates, and you just know that you've met, like something is going to happen that's good, that's positive, that is supportive. And I know we've all had that experience. So that was what this was about. And it was actually initially starting off with helping you to identify that person that was right for you. And then from there, developing all the other stuff.
So is that the angle?
I guess that's it. I guess. It's so hard.
While you were talking, I was thinking that it could be that your book is called The Love Triangle.
Oh, you are beautiful. Oh man. Look at all, Rhonda's over there going, She's the ideals lady. So, that is,
You like that, huh?
I do, because I keep,
Yeah.
Oh.
But still within the book, I think you need to start somewhere. Like it needs to start from one of those angles. Otherwise, it's not going to be cohesive. You know what I'm saying? It's got to start. I think it needs to start from what you just said, right? That they want to find that love. And then how do they keep it together? And then how do they transfer that to their children?
Yeah, because it's really a quadrangle in that case, because it starts with this. When you can love yourself, as you begin to fall in love with yourself, you begin to radiate a completely different frequency, and then you attract somebody. But you're right. So could you repeat that for me again, what you just said?
Yeah, so it starts with them attracting their love.
Yeah.
And then keeping that love in their marriage.
Yes.
And then transferring that to their children.
Transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vickie, you are so good.
I feel it's like love potion number 9.
Yes, it really is about getting more to that heart stuff instead of that hookup stuff, And yes.
So that also means that when you're putting stuff out, your main thing is about attracting the love. And
yes.
Secondary things are the other stuff. So you do get to talk about them, but the main thing out there is the attracting your love. That's how it spiders into the other things. So when you're talking about your coaching program, you might start with that. And then as you get very, very well known for that, then you can add more specific programs to the other. But I think that's your starting point.
Yes, where I'd have one that deals with parenting, another one. Yeah. Let me ask you this about the, so that when I was doing my that's, I had like 3 categories of them, and you could see them fairly distinctly, except the one I think kind of blurred into the other. You could see where they're tracking the relationship. blurred into keeping the relationship, because they really do go hand in glove. So which of those do you think would be helpful in helping me to attract the audience that we've now just identified?
Oh goodness, I'd have to go back and look.
I don't know that any of them do. Without like major reworking.
Hold on a second. Let's see. I see your ABC. Da, 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 da. Okay, wait a minute. So that. The first one, learn how to prepare for your true love so that you have a compatible, intimate love relationship worth keeping. Now that one I told you to change the prepare to attract, right?
Right.
So that one works.
Okay.
Learn the keys for mutually satisfying. I think that one still works too, because that, even though it's kind of like the next step in potentially they could be talking about marriage, but it could just be talking about the dating relationship and moving towards something serious, right? So I think that one still works too. Mutually satisfying, we just have to make that a little bit more juicy. So that your love relationship stands the test of time. Because the end of that, your love relationship stands the test of time, is something definitely that people want.
Right.
Dissolve hidden blocks and blind thoughts. Yeah, that one's not so much. Learn how to build mutual immune protections. That one I think is a little more vague, like it encompasses everything. So that's not as specific. So I don't like the building mutually meaningful connections as much. Learn the surprising high-tech, low-tech themes of healthy hearts. Yeah. That sounds like a process. And so that one we kind of, but I love the pitfall proof, right? Your relationships so that they can be free of addiction, depression, anxiety, stress, whatever.
Okay.
Now
number 5.
That I think is more, not necessarily something that you're going to lead with, but something that you put in a chapter in your book.
Okay.
I think your lead-in stuff is the stuff on the top. Attracting and keeping and nurturing that love relationship so that you have something that's worth keeping, that you have something that stands the test of time. And I like the word of flourishing as well. You have that down below as well. And then the other things that you have, I think, the stuff that's talking about parenting and families and things like that are more things that you're going to put in the book. And I also see that kind of like, was it the first Rhonda without an H that I was talking about? That like, you're going to talk about the specific thing, but extraneous other people are going to come anyway. Or maybe it was the other Rhonda. It was the other Rhonda. Right, because they're going to be like, well, you do that, but you can help me with this too, right? I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to see those other connections, and you're going to just inevitably get those other people. But I think by being very specific, you'll be able to hit that niche really well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you talk about, that zing. I really think you should incorporate that more.
It really is important.
I think you need to talk about it, define it, share, like that is your thing. T'amazing. Like, come on. Is that not the coolest thing ever? T'amazing. Really?
Yeah.
We need to put more stuff out about how to be zingy, and you can get your zing with Tame, and how to find out how you can also be T'amazing. Like it's meant to be out there.
Yeah.
It has to be like when people think about, oh, she's going to help me find my love connection and attract my love and keep my love, and she's going to make it zingy. Like, who doesn't want that? Right.
It's a very uplifting word. What about zing the love triangle? Or the love triangle zing. I don't know. Does that word work in that title anywhere? Because I love the love triangle because it immediately catches people's attention. Like, oh my gosh, no! You get all what? You can see men be like, okay,
Right. I think you could use it in the subtitle somehow.
Okay, yeah. We'll find a way.
With the rest of it. It might be a matter of how
the real thing of love.
Yeah. get the zing in your life, get the zing in your life. We'll have to play with that. But I think,
Yes.
okay, I have this floaty and it's a little driving me crazy. And it's like, it looked like I'm chasing a bug. But anyways, I think we can play with that in the subtitle. And then I want you to use it throughout the chapters in how you're talking about
see
love.
the word, yeah, like play with it. Right. And I believe that I defined zing in one of the things that I provided to you. Did I not?
Yes.
Or do you remember defined where it's yeah.
Yeah. I love the definition.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You used it in my talk. You in my bio. You selected it from my bio. It's in my bio, right?
Yes. Yep. And I think you just need to get known for that. Like everybody has their little thing, their little, or this is your gimmick to me.
Yes.
This is
yes. I have to have a key. I have to get, yeah. Way to try to me.
Right.
Oh.
So then whenever people think of you, they automatically think of Zing. I have a lady who, she's not a client of mine, but a friend of a friend introduced us, and her thing is zest. So everything in life is zesty, and, you know, find your zest and whatever. So every time I see her name, I think zest. So that's what you want with yours. Every time somebody sees Tame, you want them to sing Zing.
Right. Right. Okay, great. Yeah, I feel bad because I do so well talking to parents when they start talking to me about their kids. It's like, you know, you get that Medea thing. And you ever watch Medea, how she will not tolerate. I'm like, I have to put on an invisible muzzle. Oh yeah, that's exactly right. What you're doing right there, Rhonda. It's like, oh man. I'm like, oh, please let me help you, mommy. Please let me help you, daddy. Please, when I see what you're doing here, you don't understand what you're setting yourself up for or what you're letting this child, you know. They're the child, you are the parent. You do realize you are the parent. You do know that.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you as an Asian mama, you got it down. You're okay. You have not succumbed to the whole, my child's going to cry. Really? I'm sorry. I wish you weren't crying, but it's part of life. So let me help you with this.
Oh my gosh. So it reminds me of, we were in Kmart one day and I was in with my mom and dad, and my daughter, I don't know, she might have been 3 or something at the time. She decides to have this whole outfit in the aisle of Kmart, which she never does with me, but because grandma and grandpa was there, she decided to try something new. You know how that goes, right? So she has flopped herself out on the aisle in Kmart. And I'm just like, really? So I stepped over her and went to the other aisle. Now, grandparents don't act the same way. Like, my mother would not have tolerated that at all. But then they turn into grandparents, and all of a sudden they're nice. It's weird. So I go into the next, you know what I mean? So I go into the next aisle, and here comes my mom running after me. You cannot leave her in that aisle, like, all alone. I said, I can hear her from here. And that's number one. And number two, nobody's picking that thing up. Like, nobody's walking out of the store with that child. I can still hear her from here. Anyways, that's what reminded me of, like, oh my gosh, that
But
day.
see, I follow through with natural consequences is the thing. Like, a consequence is natural, so that kind of behavior does not continue.
Oh yeah,
Like,
without her grandparents, she would have never tried it. And I just started walking away, and in a little while, she picked herself up because she was like, they're not paying attention to me. Tried her teeth up and came over. I'm like, okay, y'all done? Yep, I'm all done. Okay, fine. But I am not into that. Not at all.
Well, but that's the part where I say, like, I'm trying to help parents have that conversation with their child so that does not happen again.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
those tantrums will happen.
Oh yeah.
And then it's part of what, you know, they get overwhelmed by an emotion. They don't know how to express it. They don't know what to do. And so they do these really extreme things to get the attention that they hope they're going to get. Yeah. And either way, you know, like, there's got to be a conversation about, well, you know, when you feel this, what was really going on inside? What were you really wanting? The next time you feel this way, this is what I'd like. The next time you do something like that, this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And it's the hardest thing is to stick with that. This is what's going to happen the next time that happens. But, you know, the thing is, I'm a professional nanny on the side, and I've been doing that for a long time. So the children do not behave with me, and I never yell. I've only yelled, let's see. Like, I can just take my last client, for instance. I've been with the same child for more than 3 years. Okay. So it's about almost 3.5 years now. And when I first went to them, they could not, the mother could put him to bed. Occasionally the father, no one else who came to watch that child could ever, grandparent, anybody, could ever get that child to bed. Very first time I got him to bed. No yelling, no screaming, no drama, no need to. But it's all in how you relate to the child. That they can clearly tell when it's like, no nonsense.
Right.
You don't have to be nasty. The 2 times that I actually raised my voice, and I don't mean screaming, but I mean raised my voice, both times he was like, because he knows Auntie doesn't do that. So if Auntie gets to that point, and I told the mom, I said, I feel badly that I had to do this. And then she was realizing what her contribution was in that, but that's what I mean is that it's very possible for you to have a completely different relationship with your child because I can do it. And I'm not more special than mom. I'm not mommy or daddy. That's the thing. Mommy and daddy have the trump card over me.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get to that book. So I guess what we'll have to do is seed a way to talk to them about how this is what's going to be coming. We're talking about you guys now, but the book that's going to help those of you who are parents already, it's in the works because, I know you need it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Now I feel better at least knowing that there's something coming. I'm like, what do I do next? No, it's too overwhelming. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, cool. So we're all set with that? Yes?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Rhonda looks like she got a nice sample of something. She's not sharing.
Oh, look at her. She is sharing now. Her vibes are coming up.
She's like, let me show you. And you don't
Let
have
me see how good this is. What are you in Costco having samples there? Oh my gosh.
Hilarious. All right, cool. So any last minute questions, anything that came up? I would love to hear just a quick round of what was your biggest takeaway from today? And then we'll wrap it up. Rhonda, can you talk or not? Is Jacques still with you? There he is. We all need to say thank you for your service to Jacques as well.
Thank you for your service, Jacques.
All right, what was your biggest takeaway, mister?
What is my biggest takeaway?
Yeah.
One, the mere fact that you helped me to organize.
So our phone is going to die in 13.
It's fine.
What?
Yeah, okay.
You got me. You got me distinctly organized and exactly what it was that I wanted to focus on. Actually, the group to definitely hit my entrepreneurs first.
Yeah.
But mapping down living 15 minutes at a time, definitely breaks down to different peer groups. But I can focus on the entrepreneurs first, but then that can break down to living 15 minutes at a time for millennials, for children, for mothers, for fathers, for
Couples.
yeah. So now, and then also knowing that I can focus on the entrepreneurs at the price point of three to now even someone telling me that I can offer a program at $10,000. That's my biggest takeaway is that positive enforcement, knowing that it can be done and that focus on the actual group that I need to focus on. So that was my biggest takeaway for today.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Rhonda, if you're not still stuffing your face.
So we're in Sam's. So that was like a broccoli cheese soup. Oh my God, it was so good. I just want y'all just to experience like what I do, like from getting my hair fixed to like eating soup, just all that. Oh, so Josh just meant
how entertaining Rhonda would be on YouTube. So totally entertaining.
It would be hilarious.
This is my everyday life.
So okay, so my phone is going to die in 12 seconds. Oh, well, no, in 12. No, it's like a 12 second. Which should be good. Guys, every time I talk to you, I have to say, and with everybody here, it's just the positivity that I get. Okay, and the main thing I always take away every time is somebody that's on my side that actually sees the vision. I could cry. That actually doesn't say, Rhonda, you just so much stuff is in your head, blah blah blah. You can't focus. You can't. It's something I've heard my whole life. Even though those same folks will come back and ask me to choreograph their show and all this stuff, right? So just to hear positive words on what you should do and not hearing, Rhonda, you haven't focused yet. I need you to, you're very stern, but you see what I have. You can take the words that I'm saying. You hear the words coming out of my mouth. You get me, and that's very hard for people to get me because I'm a genius, and they just don't know it. I'm a left-handed, and it's hard for me to like, also, I'm further too. So sometimes folks will see that as like as a as a as a malfunction. It's just so much that goes on in my head. If I could just get everything, like if I could get a Vulcan mind link, like I said, it's so much that I want to do and help. And you've made me focus on one thing, which is pretty much impossible to do. So the main thing that I'm taking away, let me be quick and not squirrel, is just the positivity that I get from everybody, and you seeing that I'm not just crazy. It's just a lot of stuff, and I have to focus and narrow it down. So that's the main thing that I get, is you helping me and just focalizing things. So that's what I get, or that was my main thing every time. But then this time too, and talking to me in a calm voice, and not, oh God, here's Rhonda, she left. You just say, Rhonda, oh my God, you get it. And lots of the millennials get it, and lots of the parents that I work with, but other folks in the middle don't. But I'm not for them, so it's all good. So that's what I get back, is you telling me what to do and how to do it, but you let me do it. Like I'm telling you what I want to do, and you formulate it. So that's what I get back.
Awesome.
I can't see you, Vickie. I see you, Rhonda. What's up, Rhonda? I see you, Rhonda, but I don't see you, Vickie.
Rhonda, the other Rhonda Wood. What was your takeaway from this?
I think my biggest takeaway was that it's okay to be very specific in your niche, one, and two, that you will still attract clients outside of that area.
Yeah.
Which is hard to see right now,
Mm-hmm.
because you struggle to, I don't know if I told you guys, but I worked in corporate America for 27 years. I've worked at 3 different law firms. Lawyers hate the niche. They hate to select a practice area because they're afraid that, oh, if I say that I only do this type of law, then these clients won't want to hire me.
Right.
So I resonate with that. So it's hard to see that, but I totally get it. So that was a huge takeaway for me.
Yeah, and I think it'll happen more as you have more people that you've helped and they've gotten a certain outcome. They will turn around and tell somebody and go, you know what, she did this for me. I bet you she can do that for you, even if they're not like the ideal, perfect, niche down person. So, yeah.
Right.
Fabulous. So, thank you. All right, Tamay, biggest takeaway. Oh, wait, I think I unmuted and you unmuted. So, okay, now go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So the biggest takeaway for me was the title, that because in trying to describe those 3 things, bringing it into focus in that way was really helpful. And then going over specifically and saying which of these were usable, of my so that's were usable toward that. And I know that you're gonna have a place where we use them down the road. And oh, by the way, I wanted to thank you also for, you said you went ahead and you did the other modules already and they're posted somewhere so that we can watch videos that are more in detail. Thank you so much for that, because it's watching you give actual examples and walking us through it that really helps me then say, oh, Tamay, what you've done it's completely unusable because it's too extraneous. It's not focused enough. Mm-hmm. And I love that that you did that. So, and that you let me know that my ABC is also, you've done something like that for it. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing was like helping me to resolve, to put to peace that, okay, I can do the parenting book thing to address that next, because we're focusing on, like I said, sorting out that chicken and egg was so hard.
Yeah.
So hard. And then you were able to help me to do that. And thank you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And then, yeah, the whole thing about like highlighting zing, we got to get that zing thing to be your thing. Zing is your thing. Yeah. I love that too, because I do want to make that, what it really is about, so thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome. Awesome. Okay. Anybody with any last minute questions before we hop off? Good?
Yeah, we're good.
You'll look up
We're good. You're hearing from us more. You know, they're like, eh.
All right, cool. Then we'll see your questions and your comments, and definitely share your wins as well in the group. I love seeing those. Tamay, I appreciate when you get in there and you say, hey, I really like this part, or this was helpful for me. So thank you for that as well. And yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks, and hopefully I'm not snowed in someplace by then. All right, see you guys later. Bye.
Aloha.